the worst babysitting job ever. My friend Stella called me crying, begging me to watch her kids for a few hours because her mom just had a heart attack. I got to her house and her taxi was already backing out of the driveway. She rolled down the windows to warn me that her ex-husband Ryan had lost custody last month after he broke Josh's arm and had been driving by the house lately. I didn't even get to respond before she sped off. The kids were watching TV when I got inside. 8-year-old Ava looked up at me with wide eyes and asked, "Are you staying with us until mom gets back?" I told her yes. Josh whispered, "He's not supposed to come here." The judge said. He got mad because I spilled juice and grabbed my arm and twisted it until it snapped. Ava added, "If he comes here, we're supposed to hide and call 911. Mom taught us." I made them popcorn and we settled in to watch a movie, but both kids kept glancing at the windows. Every car that passed made them tense up. Then headlights swept across the living room as a car pulled into the driveway. Ava grabbed my arm so hard her nails dug in. "That's Dad's car." Josh started shaking beside me. 3 hard knocks rattled the door. Ryan called out, "Ava, Josh, it's Daddy. Open up." Both kids scrambled behind the couch, Josh covering his cast protectively. Ava was crying silently, her whole body trembling. More knocking, harder this time. Ryan shouted, "I know you're in there." I saw someone through the window. "Don't make Daddy angry." I looked through the peephole. A man in a wrinkled dress shirt was standing there, swaying slightly. Even from here I could smell the alcohol. Ryan yelled, "Kids, I can hear the TV. Just visited Grandma this morning. Guess the stress was too much for her old heart." My blood went cold. I pulled out my phone to call 911, but Ryan must have heard because he pressed his face against the door and said, "I know Stella's not there. I watched her leave. Running to the hospital, is she?" I stayed quiet, dialing with shaking fingers. Ryan screamed, "This is my house!" and started pounding with both fists. "Josh, you know what happens when you don't listen." The kids were sobbing now. The pounding stopped and I heard footsteps walking away. I peeked through the side window and saw Ryan going to his car. He opened the trunk and pulled out a tire iron. Ryan shouted, "Last chance! Open this door or I'm coming in!" I grabbed both kids and ran upstairs to the bathroom. Ava whispered, "Lock the door. He can't break the lock." We tried before. The sound of glass shattering came from downstairs. He'd smashed the front window. We could hear him knocking out the remaining glass, then climbing through. Ryan's voice came from downstairs, calmer now, which was somehow worse. "Where are my kids? Daddy just wants to talk. Tell you all about my morning visit with Grandma." I was on with 911, whispering our address. The dispatcher said units were coming, but to stay hidden. Heavy footsteps on the stairs. Ryan called out. She looked so surprised to see me. Started clutching her chest right away. Should have seen her face when I told her what Stella's been planning. The kids looked at each other in horror. The footsteps stopped outside the bathroom. The doorknob turned slowly. Ryan sang, "Found you." Then a massive bang as he kicked the door. The wood cracked but held. Another kick and the frame started splintering. Ryan screamed, "You can't hide from me," and kept kicking. Between kicks, he yelled, "Josh, remember what happened to your puppy when you tried to tell the teacher about Daddy?" Josh started hyperventilating and Ava had to cover his mouth to muffle his sobs. The kicking got harder and more pieces of the doorframe flew off. Ryan shouted, "I've got all night, and when I get in there, we're going to have a family meeting about respect." The door was barely holding together when we heard sirens in the distance. Ryan must have heard them because the kicking got frantic. He yelled, "Open this door! They're my kids!" The door finally gave way, hanging off its hinges. Ryan stood there with the tire iron, his face purple with rage, breathing hard from the exertion. He looked at Josh's cast and smiled. "Want me to match the other arm?" Josh screamed, and I pulled both kids behind me. Ryan asked, "Who are you? You think you can keep me from my kids?" He stepped into the bathroom and raised the tire iron above his head. I pushed the kids into the bathtub and grabbed the shower curtain rod, holding it up to block him, but he laughed and swung the tire iron, knocking it out of my hand so hard my palms went numb. He raised the tire iron again, aiming for my head this time, and I covered the kids with my body, waiting for the impact. Red and blue lights suddenly flooded through the window. Ryan looked back, then at the kids. He started saying, "Tell them you want to come with Daddy. Tell them," or a police officer's voice came from downstairs. "Police! Drop the weapon!" I screamed, "Up here! He's got a weapon!" 2 officers appeared in the doorway, weapons drawn. Ryan dropped the tire iron and raised his hand, saying, "These are my kids. I have rights." One officer commanded, "Step away from them, now." They cuffed him and started leading him out. At the top of the stairs, Ryan turned back with this horrible smile. Ryan screamed, "Check the trunk of her car. Go check what's in Stella's trunk." Check what she did. The officers stopped for a second, looking at each other, then continued dragging him down the stairs. I stood there holding the crying kids, my hands shaking, wondering what he meant. Through the broken window, I could see Stella's car still parked in the driveway, the trunk barely visible in the darkness. Ava looked up at me with wide eyes and asked, "What's in Mommy's trunk?" I didn't know how to answer her, but 2 officers were already pulling us apart from Ryan's path downstairs. One officer guided us to the living room while 3 others spread through the house checking rooms and closets. Their hands moved to their weapons every time they opened a door. Ava's fingernails dug into my palm and wouldn't let go. Josh kept tugging my shirt, asking if his dad was really gone this time. I told him yes, but my voice shook because through the broken window